John Wall and a first-round pick. For Russ, this will be his third team in as many seasons after 11 years in OKC, and then last year alongside Harden in Houston. But for Wall, who hasn't played basketball in almost 2 years, this is a chance for a fresh start as Harden's running mate. Chris Broussard still with us. Busy morning here on First Things First. Broussard, who are the winners and losers of this trade?
Well, look, this was indeed a blockbuster trade because of the names involved. John Wall was a perennial all-star. Russell Westbrook is a legend. Yes, a legend, the first ballot Hall of Famer and a legend for the 3 triple-double seasons. But neither of these teams is going to be very good. So I don't know that there's a huge winner, but if I have to pick which team won the trade, I'm going with Washington because Washington becomes relevant. Right? We want to see Russ and Bradley Beal play together, just like we wanted to see Russ and James Harden play together, if for no other reason than to see can it work. And I actually think it can work to a degree where I give them a shot, a pretty good shot, at making the playoffs in the East. Now, it's not guaranteed, but I think they'll battle with Atlanta, maybe in Indiana, you know, kind of for that 7-8 area in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. So they're relevant. They got a shot. You put the ball in Russ's hands. You surround him with shooting. They were a good three-point shooting team last year, 8th in the league, I believe. And so you go from there. You're relevant. You're sexy. You're fun to watch. People are talking about you. As far as Westbrook overall, though, I think he would have been better off just staying in Houston. So I don't know that he's a winner overall. Obviously, he had talked too much, and it just had to be done at this point. But he was in a better situation with the Rockets. He may never play another relevant playoff game in his career. In Houston, they could have been maybe a second-round playoff team and gotten into the playoffs and made a little noise. But now he still can make all-star teams, though, in the East. That's something John Wall probably will never make an all-star team in the West. There's just way too many guards there, especially if James Harden stays with him. So I think overall, Wall was a loser in this deal, and and the Wizards were the winners.
Let me ask you a question, Broussard. Because you said if Russ stayed in Houston, they could, play relevant playoff games potentially, like they did last year. Made the second round last year.
Right.
They got beat by the best team. Why can't that happen with Houston with Wall? Like, I know we haven't seen Wall play in 2 years, but I think Christian Wood is a really good signing by them. I think Steven Silas is going to do a good job. Harden is still an unquestioned top 6 player in this league. If John Wall is even 80% of what he was pre-Achilles injury and heel injury, why can't they go a similar place they would have gone with Russ?
One, Wall's not as good as Russ. And I know they're similar style players, but it's a big if he's going to be what he was when he got injured. Okay, remember, he's got the knee injury and then the Achilles on top of that. But beyond that, what Russell Westbrook gave you, even though he and Harden weren't a great fit, and obviously Russ isn't great off the ball, he had this aggressive ferocity that kept the opponent off balance, that kept the opponent off guard. It was like his ferociousness was an X factor that just could throw everything out of whack for the opponent. And so you had Harden, who was this tremendous half-court scorer and shooter, and then you had Russ, who was just a whirlwind. And as athletic as John Wall was, and maybe still will be, he is not that. He does not put the defense off balance the way that Russell Westbrook did. So that kind of X factor, that unknown that, threw teams off in the West, they won't have that anymore. I don't know how in the world these two, Harden and Wall, are going to play together. Wall's not a very good shooter. Wall dominates the ball as much as Harden or Westbrook did. Look, I just don't see this being very successful and very good for the Rockets. I'm sorry. I don't think the Rockets made a good deal at all because you got a first-round draft pick. Okay, wow. It's not going to be a high lottery pick. We know it's protected. And so I just don't. I think they would have been better off with Westbrook.
Okay, wow, that's my new thing. Broussard, I want to push back on your idea that Russ will never play a relevant playoff game. What do you think the strategy was, or the blueprint was, for the Heat to get to the finals. A super competitive guy, Russ, okay, Jimmy Butler, surrounded with shooters and some good coaching. And a Giannis kind of breakdown, of course. But next thing you know, all of a sudden, wow, Heat are in the finals. So is there a chance? I don't think we're at Bradley Beal's, apex performance. I could see Russ pushing him, and I could also see Russ giving them that little bit of extra attitude that they need to sort of make a run. And I'm a fan of long shots. It's like we're Blazer buddies and like that. So I'm like, I'm trying to talk myself into the Wizards. So I'm just not ready to give up the fact that Russ can't get in the playoffs and make some noise.
You're leaving out a huge factor for Miami, that organization. That organization was a big part of their success this year. The professionalism, the drive of Pat Riley. Eric Spoelstra is a much better coach than Scotty Brooks. And Jimmy Butler is a better leader than Russell Westbrook is. And so those are huge factors. Now, I think they can make the playoffs, but it's not guaranteed. But look, the East is much better. Brooklyn wasn't there last year with Durant and Kyrie Irving. Philadelphia will be better with Doc Rivers and what they've done to surround their two young stars. Daryl Morey being there as well as the GM.
Boston will be worse.
I know Nick likes to hate on Boston. Boston's going to be good. I'm not saying they win the East, but they are going to be a good team. Stop sleeping on Jason Tatum. And your tears mean nothing to me. All right, Jason Tatum and the Celtics will be a tough team.
They're crocodile
And so
tears.
the East is much better. And don't forget Milwaukee.
Does this conversation hurt your ears just a little bit? You and I, as the resident ultimate competitors, we love the risk. We love the adrenaline rush. So, they're sitting here talking about this, and we're not talking about championships. Whenever I see, all-stars and superstars get traded, the first thing I think about, does it make their team better and put them in position to contend? And the answer is no. So why is this conversation so big? This is a lose-lose situation. So I know we got to go to break. I know we got to push the conversation forward. I don't want to just put white noise out there. But the reality is, it's like, can they win a championship? Yes or no? You already have your money. Like, I can understand a player going to a losing situation if the money's better. But these guys both have their money, and they're sitting here in lose-lose situations. So I don't get it.